Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to AceJimL8, or as I like to call it, AceJimL8. Sounds dirty if you say it fast enough.
You can't get from the filthiest man alive.
Yes. Okay, so we have a couple topics that we want to talk about. First of all, the Game Awards. Honestly, that's the entire reason I wanted to start this podcast to begin with, just because the Game Awards gets me hot. Actually, I'm going to try to avoid cussing, which is not easy for me because, it's part of my humor, but...
Don't worry. If you don't cuss, the video will be marked for kids. If you do cuss, you can't monetize it because no one will want to have an ad in front of it.
Well, shit, you're right. We should make it so it's not marked for kids.
Yeah, but then YouTube will automatically make it for kids. You remember the SpongeBob anime?
Yeah, true. They had cussing in the SpongeBob anime and they marked it for kids. Way to go, YouTube. Way to go.
Well, they've done it for the anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
On to the Game Awards.
Oh my word. Sonic got completely shafted from those guys.
I'm not surprised by some of these, but then half these games are like, I'm sorry, who?
Yeah, okay. I understand, a lot of these guys, a lot of them went into their projects with a lot of work, especially God of War. You can definitely tell that they put a lot of effort into that. And Elden Ring, for sure. I think they've been working on that for 11 years or something like that.
Seems like
Not
it,
sure.
Given how good the quality was and how much I heard about it.
Yeah. Well, basically, Sonic Frontiers, I know for a fact they worked for 5 years on this because that's when they first announced it 5 years ago.
It fucking shows.
Yeah, and it does. Definitely my favorite theme out of all of them is Find Your Flame, which I kind of want to sing at some point. Yeah, they didn't even nominate any single soundtrack from Sonic, and I'm just flabbergasted by that.
But God of War has such good music, like when they went oh.
I don't understand. Sometimes I just don't understand people. I think I get the argument that maybe Sonic was too late for the Game Awards, but that doesn't make any sense because they already nominated him for other things, and he already won the award for Best Fishing Minigame.
Well, I don't know if that was a real Game Awards or that was a fan-made thing. It's a thing.
Maybe it might have been actually. I know he was winning in one of the categories. I think it was round 2. He was actually in first place. I'm not sure. All I know is that Sega definitely put a lot of effort into this. Well, actually, I shouldn't say Sega. I should say Sonic Team because apparently Sega is not the same thing as Sonic Team. And if to contextualize from what I've been told, Sega is essentially the slave driver, while Sonic Team are the people actually working on it.
Oh, so it's the Pokemon company to Nintendo.
Right. It's Game Freak to Nintendo.
Right, Game Freak. That's right.
Right. But yeah, we can talk about Pokemon in a second because my word. Yeah. Oh boy, with that's the
such high quality assurance.
Yeah. I know everyone's been talking death about Sonic the Hedgehog, but
you talk about good things.
Yeah, let's talk about good things first. We got to start with positivity to get everyone hooked in to listen to this podcast. For real though, Frontiers. I guess we could say. I guess we could probably go into spoiler territory at this point because at this point you've either seen Sonic or you haven't. You've seen the entire game being played by someone else or you haven't.
Yeah.
I think it's the first Sonic game in years that I have ever seen where it's actually difficult to get through.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. There's actual difficulty.
Wait, you don't just boost to win?
No, you don't. It doesn't play itself. No, in fact, it actually tries to prevent you from winning. I know, right?
The avatar from Force is just shaking in his boots in the corner.
Actually, they ported the avatar from Forces.
Oh, that's nice.
Or no, wait, no, did I say? Well, I meant to say specifically the Sonic avatar.
Oh, well, still.
Right. I'd like to see you know what, actually, I think it would be interesting to see the avatar come over from Forces. But I don't think that's ever going to happen because that would take way too much processing power.
Yeah, it's just better to stick with what we have and just take the DLC we can. But that's when that comes out.
Yeah, I think they said it was coming out in February.
Yeah, it's a good time. Happy Valentine's Day. Here's Sonic.
I mean, hey, what better time to drop it? I mean, if they don't drop Amy as a DLC character, it might not make a whole lot of sense. But
imagine if on Valentine's Day they drop Elise.
No!
They just bring a human in.
Oh boy. Oh no.
We ruined the game for you.
You know, I will say this though: the bosses, they're really actually. I think the most effort was put in directly into the bosses, the actual boss fights.
Makes sense.
Like, there's different kinds of bosses. There's the mini bosses, which are called guardians.
I see.
And each one of them is not just a simple press certain button to win. You actually have to maneuver around them, or if you unlock a certain ability, then it'll be much easier to defeat them.
Naturally.
Like there's these little orb. I think you've seen these in the trailer, right? Where there's the little orb guys.
Yes.
With those, surprisingly, those things are not easy to kill.
Really, but in the trailer, they're just like being homing attack chained.
Yeah. See, okay, so here's the thing about those things. They're difficult to kill unless you unlock that wind slash ability.
Oh boy.
Right. So, like, again, I mean, you can still kill them. It's just significantly slower, and doing the wind slash just significantly increases the speed of it, which that is something that has been missing. It's not a matter of you can't do this in a Sonic game. It's more a matter of you can't do this as fast in a Sonic game.
Which just kind of goes against the character, if to say it out loud.
Yeah.
You can't do this as fast, but I'm the fastest thing alive.
Right, but once you get to Giganto, the first boss, I kind of hate that name, but I don't really mind it. So basically, at that point, you're basically just thrust into a position where you have to unload all of your existing knowledge that you've learned up to this point. All of the combat that you've learned so far, you gotta unload it as fast as possible.
Oh boy, that's asking a bit.
Basically. It's obviously a supersonic boss fight.
Yes.
And as you know, in supersonic, your rings slowly deplete during the entire boss fight.
Yes.
So in this instance, since you're fighting Giganto, you have to essentially beat the clock by getting his health bar as low as possible. Meanwhile, his pushback against you is amping up throughout the entire fight. You have to use different maneuvers throughout the entire fight to finally hit him in the face.
Ooh, that sounds different. That's a different kind of challenge for Supersonic.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things I think there's a thing that people missed about the Titans. It's not that they're just giant monsters, because we've seen that all the time in Sonic. There's this giant.
If there
monster.
isn't a giant monster, something's wrong.
Right, it's giant monster of the week, Jerry. You know.
Right.
Come on, how many giant monsters? You got Chaos, the Bio Lizard,
Dark Gaia,
Devil
Doom,
one that everyone goes
Metal
with.
Overlord.
Metal Overlord. Yep. But the thing about all those bosses that they're slow. They're really slow.
Yes. Perfect Chaos, and some of them don't even move.
Right.
Perfect Chaos just stands there.
But if you actually take a look at the Titans, how they act in cutscenes, how they react to Sonic while in the fights, they're actually quite agile despite their size.
That just reminded me of the DBZA quote. That means he's bigger than me. That means he's not as fast. Oh god, he's still as fast.
Yeah. I think it's the first, because whenever there's a fast character in Sonic tends to have a hard time with that character.
Yes.
You got Shadow the Hedgehog. Sonic gets his ass kicked by him.
Yes.
Granted, Shadow was using Chaos Control to be faster than him, but still, it's a speed-based thing. And then you have Infinite, who was, quote, faster than Sonic, and until later, Sonic couldn't beat him.
Until he believed in the superpower of teamwork.
Yeah, that okay. Yeah, that was...
We made this game in
Yeah.
5 minutes. Okay, that's not fair. That's not fair to the developers of Forces. I'm sure they had a very hard time, and I have nothing but respect for them. I just don't like their game.
That's right. But this is the first time that Sonic has ever been up against enemies that are not only gigantic, but just as fast, if not slightly faster than him.
Sonic just having a mental panic attack. That's not right. That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works.
If you're gigantic, you're supposed to be slow. That's how it's supposed to go.
Don't you know anything about cliches?
Yeah.
You've gone too far, Sage.
Okay, yeah, not even to spoil it, but the third boss, the third boss, Knight, is actually so fast that you actually can't hit him throughout the entire second segment throughout the game.
Then how am I supposed to beat him?
Well, okay, so basically you have to essentially goad him into hitting himself.
Oh, great. So
yeah.
the boss fight is, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Kinda. Okay, so basically he's throwing something at you, and you have to knock it. You have to essentially predict where he's going to be and throw it back at him.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'll explain that in a sec, but each boss gets progressively more powerful as you do.
I see. Which
is honestly amazing, because obviously there's a level up system, which you've probably seen.
Yes. It's a game released in the 2020s. There's going to be a skill tree.
Right, but the thing is, the abilities that you like, the abilities that the bosses use directly correlate with how fast you're able to learn. So when you're at the second boss, you can't really defeat him unless you learn how to parry. Like literally, you can't actually defeat him unless you learn how to parry.
Yes, I see.
And yeah, it's a pretty rough crash course. But once you do learn how to parry, you are likely to learn another secret about the parry, which I'm not exactly going to just divulge at this point. But it does make parrying significantly easier. And then I see every single streamer who has ever played the game do this. The moment they get to the night fight and they try that same little trick that they used on Wyvern with the parry, it doesn't work.
Oh, great. I love that stuff. We're just like, I'll do the exact same thing. No.
No, it doesn't work, guys. It doesn't work. And that's the thing. Like, the trick you learn to defeat the new boss suddenly makes that boss you're fighting a lot easier.
Yes.
But then the next boss, when you try the same thing against them, it doesn't work.
It's like it was watching about, it's like, okay, so we can parry now. I'll make sure he can't parry that next time then.
Oh, yeah. You think you just parry me? Well, better. Oh, I got an idea. How about I just don't hit you? Huh?
I see you've been spamming this one move the entire game. I've already developed a counter to it. Wait, what?
Yep. It's amazing, too, because, and then you get to the final, I guess the fourth one. Final one is Supreme, and he doesn't actually, I don't think you can really parry anything that he does. And additionally, you can't really do the same thing that you've been doing with Knight, where you try to like home in on his face, essentially, because he's got these little spheres around him that prevent you from getting close to him.
I see.
So yeah, you have to learn something new with every single boss fight, and you just feel more powerful every single time you do it. And then if you go back to Giganto, the first boss fight, he feels like an absolute pushover.
Yeah, because you know all these abilities now.
Right, and it's a great feeling of superiority, a dopamine hit that hits you so hard.
And that music in the background is helping things.
I am no longer your lesser. I am now superior to you.
The music that's playing in the background used to be your theme. Now it's my theme.
Yeah. I don't know. Sonic Team did a great job with this game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things to explore to it, and I highly recommend anyone that's potentially watching to give it a play. Or ask your friend to borrow their game.
Just reminded of that one guy who makes all the freaking Sonic meme videos be like, I'm kind of scared of what happens next, because now I have such big shoes to fill. What if I let everyone down?
I mean, he does have a lot of big shoes to fill, but fortunately, it looks like Sonic Team is planning to just use this as a copy-paste format, which I'm okay with.
I know, but I'm also scared because they did copy-paste the boost formula to death, and at some point it did start to wear out its welcome.
True. Well, I mean, we're still using the boost formula.
True enough.
It's just evolved. It's evolved with Sonic.
Yes.
I am glad, though, that he doesn't constantly have that trail behind him.
I kind of like the trail, but I can see why people don't like it.
I mean, it's optional in this game.
I was upset.
Funny.
I was upset in Colors when they got rid of the boost thing that goes around him.
What? Oh, right. Yeah, I did not like the colors boost at all.
I get why I couldn't see it because it's air. Of course, I can't see it, and we're in space, so there's no air to boost through. But it's like it looks cool.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I didn't like the boost formula for colors. I mean, to be fair, colors felt more like a platformer than it did an actual Sonic game.
Well, but Sonic is a platformer.
No, like a slower platformer.
It is more Mario than Sonic. Maybe that's why it did so well, because everyone on the Wii was a Mario fan.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of Mario, we got that new Mario movie that came out, or the movie trailer that came out recently. And
yes.
Oh boy.
There are hot takes about it.
It's kind of ironic that it's kind of something you got to be scared to say about the Mario movie, because if you say anything negative about it, you have the potential of being controversial.
I know. Well, if you say anything, you have the potential of being controversial. You breathe, and that offends me.
Well, no, you can say whatever you want about Sonic, and nobody's gonna you're not controversial. Nobody's gonna cancel you over that.
Oh,
but this just proves to me that the Mario movie is trying to be political. I'm not going to go into too far about that whole thing, but I'm going to comment on Chris Pratt's voice and like the whole portrayal of Mario himself. And my word, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like Mario. Okay, first of all, I think most people can agree that Chris Pratt does not sound like Mario at all. Right?
No.
Can we at least agree on that?
I could agree on that one. I didn't even like him from the first trailer, but at least that he had like 3 lines. So it's like, okay, I'll give him a chance when I hear more lines.
Oh my word! It's like the most. It's like the most underacting thing I've ever seen. Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. I'm like,
get out of here!
Get out of here! Go back to Brooklyn, dude.
And then Bowser.
Wait, Joey! Hey, Joey, why are you here?
He tells Bowser to get out of here, and then Bowser does. Hey, I'm walking here.
Bowser's like, I'm not sure if you know who I am, but I'm gonna rule the world, and nothing you do is gonna stop me. Hey, you big fat lizard, get the fuck out of here!
I've never been turned off like that before. Mommy!
Also, I did not like the way they portrayed Luigi. Like, if anything, Luigi's the one that's supposed to be rescuing Mario, right? Like,
depending on the thing. I mean, he's always been a coward.
Okay, Luigi's been a coward, but he's always been the one that saves the day more than Mario.
Not really. Only in his Luigi's Mansion game. Sometimes Luigi's the one to be saved.
Okay, one time in Super Mario Galaxy.
I don't know. When the entire franchise is Super Mario, it's kind of hard to focus on the Luigi brother.
Yeah, well, it should be, because Luigi's better than Mario.
Shit, who likes Mario?
A lot of people do. But from what a couple of people have told me, that the main appeal of the whole Nintendo thing is that you can play with other people.
Yes.
I think that is why they do better than Sega.
Maybe.
Because as a whole, Nintendo, it's all about just play this game with your friends, whereas Sega, it's play this game. Wallow in your loneliness.
Sonic and his shitty friends, whereas meanwhile Mario has a bunch of great friends that all have one personality trait, if that.
Yep. You're allowed to like what you want to, but I don't think it's fair to say that Mario even comes close to being more fun than Sonic, because I've played both. I've been a fan of both series for the longest time.
Same.
But the funny thing is, I only really liked the spin-off games for the Super Mario Bros.
Such as?
Like Mario Party, Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I don't really like the sports games that much. They're kind of annoying.
Yeah. I just like the memes that come out of them.
Yeah, true. So the memes do definitely come out of them, and they are very hilarious.
Waluigi with the crotch chop.
Yeah. But yeah, and Sonic doesn't really have that. He only really has his main title games to go off of. But like, if you ever actually played them both side by side, you go back to the original. I think the only two games that break this, like, that are the exception, not the rule, are the first two games, because obviously we've all played the first games of the series, and if
For
not,
better
why,
and worse.
right? The first game of the Mario series was amazing. Like, it felt,
Yes.
personally, I thought it felt smooth.
Yes.
Like, Super Mario Bros. Felt smooth. I mean, granted, it wasn't the first game he was in.
No, but we don't want to play in. We don't want to do any plumbing.
Right, yeah, like you could do Donkey Kong, all that other stuff, but no, like the first one where there was actually the title Mario. Yeah, I think that game was better than Sonic 1.
Yes,
I do, I genuinely do, because Sonic didn't even have a spin dash at that point, and the only actual fun level in Sonic 1 was the first level, being Green Hill Zone.
And that's where they bring it back in every single game ever.
Yep, that is why they bring it back. It's the only one that was actually fun.
Meanwhile, you don't see a lot of World 1-1 of Mario.
I don't know. I just wish they'd bring back something else. Like, then again, like, what other levels do people actually know from Sonic 1, 2, or 3?
Starlight Zone, the Hilltop,
I mean,
guess.
the only ones that I remember, personally, like, the ones I remember most were Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant Zone, which, obviously, because we all died during that one during the second game.
Yep.
And the third one, the place where I got stuck in the third one was the bootleg labyrinth zone, which they brought back in Sonic
Hydro
Forces.
City, yeah. They brought back Hydro City and Forces.
Hydrocity.
Oh, no, we're not getting into this debate.
Look, if Megamind can do it, then I can too.
Look, the point. I didn't even know there was that zone in Force. I thought that was in, what was it, Mania?
Yeah, it was in Mania. I think, no, actually, yeah, it wasn't. They put it in Mania.
Yeah, they put all the classic games in Mania, and then wondered why everyone was complaining about the unoriginality.
You know, I heard Frontiers actually surpassed Mania by almost twice as much people playing it at one time.
Damn, that's impressive.
So yeah, it was almost twice as popular as Mania.
I mean, I'm not terribly surprised, but at the same time, it's like, damn, twice as much? Okay, I wouldn't put money on that. If it were just more, then it'd be like, okay, fair.
And then meanwhile, Forces is like not even.
We got like 2 people.
It wasn't even a tenth as popular as Mania.
Nope.
It's like, so clearly Sonic did something right, and the fans can see it, but apparently all the big people up top don't see it.
Nope, and that's how we all bring it back to the Game Awards, which was the original conversation starter.
It was the original conversation starter, and I'm glad we're back at it.
See, we planned it this far ahead. It was in the script already.
It's how my brain works, okay? I don't tell it what to do. It tells me what to do.
Well, technically, it tells you what to do, and then you tell it what to do, which causes it to tell you what to do. Well, it's an infinite loop.
I mean, right now it's telling me to drink a soda, but I don't have a soda, so...
Drink Pepsi.
No, Pepsi is terrible. Actually, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't like Pepsi, but I know there's a lot of people that do like it. But I don't know. The Game Awards, on the other hand, I understand why they picked Elden Ring as Game of the Year. I understand exactly why they did that.
It.
I thought they voted for it. I might be wrong.
They voted for it, but apparently the final thing is until the 8th.
I see. I think there was okay then. In that case, the thing I must have saw was highly speculation or something like that.
Watch the winner be some random game no one's ever heard of before, like Stray or something.
Or Spark the Electric Jester 3.
Yeah, that's not even on the run for indie games.
You know what? Honestly, it should have been in there. Spark 3. I mean, they got new the game came out this year, and they got new DLC this last week.
How do you have an award for most anticipated games? Like, where everyone's really excited. Here's a trophy for it.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. It's honestly, I wish everyone could at least see. Like, I wish Sparks was at least in somewhat the mainstream, because, my word, Lake Fepper, that's the guy who created it.
Yep.
He is amazing at creating games. He did it all himself. One dude created the game.
Which is just hella
Like,
impressive.
Granted, he had a bunch of other people like to help him with music and stuff like that.
Yes.
But like the gameplay, he did that all himself.
Very
Gameplay
impressive.
and story, all that was himself. Because yeah, I don't know. I'm just impressed. I'm impressed. Like, the guy deserves an award.
The guy deserves so much more.
Yeah, I don't know. Like anyone who's like watching potentially, just do yourself a favor and try playing Spark the Electric Jester. It's a great game.
It's probably cheap on
Great
Steam
game.
or whatever you use.
Oh yeah, it was really cheap. It was pretty cheap. It was like $14. I think to be fair, they were going a sale at the time.
Yeah, Steam
But I think
sale.
normally it's like $20 maybe. I'm not sure.
Which is still cheaper than
look it
half the games on the awards things.
It's cheaper than all the games on Nintendo Switch.
Sadly, and they'll never go down in price.
Yeah, they're always $60 and nothing less. Even if Nintendo doesn't own them.
Just think for $60 you could buy one cruddy FNAF game or a collection of like the other 86 FNAF games for the
On
same
Steam.
price.
Same price on Steam.
Same price on Switch because both way you're paying $60.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of horror games, I guess apparently the new Bendy game came out recently. I didn't even know it was in the making.
That's how little coverage it got. No one cared to that extent.
Well, I mean, we should cover it at least a little bit. It looks like they're going a lot more with the horror element than they are with just like the whole evil Mickey Mouse element.
Whenever I heard of Bendy the Ink Machine, I just thought it was like a parody of the old Mickey Mouse element. I wasn't expecting it to go realistic.
Yeah. What I think is funny is that I watched a part of it. I watched like 30 minutes of the opening. In the first 30 minutes of the opening, we meet obviously this animator.
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but I think she's a redhead with glasses.
Did she develop the game?
Probably.
We just start by breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
You're going to play a delightful video game that I created for you. Oh, hand crap! This section isn't done yet.
Basically, she's working late at night in a company that has a shady past, which is always a smart idea to do, right?
Yeah, right.
And then, of course, the creepy janitor comes by.
As you do.
And the two of them get stuck in an elevator together.
I didn't know they'd make a game based off of Toei's development company, but here we are. Based on a true story.
And I'm just like, okay, lady, how stupid are you at this point? Like what? Why are you listening to anything this creepy dude is saying? Surprise, surprise! He betrays her and turns her into an ink monster.
Why do I listen to anything this man is saying? Because I've been animating this game for like 3 days straight with no sleep. Excuse me for making one mistake.
You know what? That is actually a pretty good, legitimate excuse. Honestly, it's like the Kayaba Akihiko excuse. Do you have any idea how long or what it's like being awake for 72 hours of uninterrupted consciousness? I swore towards the end of my suffering, I swore I saw the face of God.
Turns out it was just the janitor, but boy did he have a morale boost after that.
Oh my gosh, Takahata 101. Oh boy, I'm surprised I wasn't able to pull off my Takahata voice because I generally am usually able to sound like Takahata.
Well, you weren't trying.
Well, it's been fun, Kirito. But as they say in the vernacular of your people, game over!
And he kills him. Dramatic finish!
Yep. Yep, the one time that a Takahata 101 character kills someone else.
Intentionally.
Only to immediately be stabbed and cheated.
The one time Chaka killed someone intentionally. Pretty sure half of the ones by Nappa were by accident.
I still love his reason for killing Kirito. You know what? Fine. Stabbing you in the chest sounds fucking therapeutic at this point.
That's the entire reason. Therapy.
He just hates him that much because Kirito's such an ass.
Fair point.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Yeah. I can't believe we got all the way to SAO abridged from that one little tiny conversation.
Well, now we're in... we didn't have much to say about Benny and the Ink Machine.
True. But speaking of anime, apparently there's this new anime called something Sword-kun.
What?
I don't know anime titles, man. It's always like Shunawa to a Sword.
Well, no, if you're trying to get an anime title right, it's supposed to be a 5-paragraph essay explaining the entire history of the series from beginning to end, and that's just the title.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find the English title.
Story of Sword-kun. We're going to inanimate objects now, people. We are getting dangerously close to Truck-kun, and when it has, we can officially stop making isekais, which is why they've been trying to avoid it for so long.
Oh, it's called I Became a Sword by Transmigration.
What?
That's what it's called. I Became a Sword by Transmigration.
So he reincarnated into an animate object. Great.
Yeah, you know that whole, like... You know how there's whole, like, that sometimes the anime characters will have a talking sword?
Yes.
This anime puts the protagonist in the position of being said talking sword.
Well, that's one that hasn't been done yet, I don't think. Unless you count, I don't know, Soul Eater.
Yeah, I don't think Soul Eater counts because that guy can switch back and forth between his weapon form.
Fair enough.
Not to mention there's like another anime that also did that exact same thing, which was not quite as good. I can't remember what it was, but I think they were called Regalias in that anime.
Well, probably.
But anyway, yeah, this dude's a talking sword, and he helps a cat girl.
Please tell me he has a mouth as a sword. It's like Caliburn from Sonic and the Black Knight.
He has a mouth.
Oh boy, he has a mouth and he must scream.
He has eyes.
Oh god, it is Caliburn. Look, just for the English dub, make him voiced by Lord Ines, and we're fine. Because imagine that voice coming out of that sword.
Yeah. You know, I think I can't remember what his name is though, but the guy who voiced Einzelgon, or I guess as we all like to know him, Cooler from DBZA Abridged.
Yes.
Wait, I said that wrong. It would be like DBZA Abridged with the DBZ Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
ATM machine.
Yeah. Basically, I think he was in Pokemon Generations. I'm not sure. The voice sounded very familiar.
Probably.
Which was 6 years ago.
Oh god.
You feel old yet?
I keep looking back. I keep looking back at all these videos I used to watch. It's like, this is 5 years old. This is 5 years old. This is 6 years old. God help me.
I'm old.
Inception was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Help.
Yep.
This is the legacy I'm living on my planet. I can't wait to tell my grandchildren about that time where I watched that one YouTube video. Meanwhile, but now it's getting sad. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Sword-kun.
Yeah, we were talking about how old we were because we were talking about the sword anime originally.
Sword art anime.
It's actually, honestly, I think they did pretty good with it. I think it was actually, fortunately, they didn't have a whole lot of the typical tropes you see in anime.
But they have a cat girl and an isekai. That's all. That's half the tropes nowadays.
But they don't. Fortunately, they don't sexualize her.
What? Wait a minute. That's illegal. I demand my 86 panty shots that make me feel uncomfortable.
It's technically required by law because she's also a child.
Where's my 86 panty shots that make me feel very uncomfortable?
Yeah, where is that? I mean, the closest they got to it is a MILF character who's
Ah,
yeah, they have a MILF character who is
heavily
very
chested.
let's just say she's got some very strong motherly instincts towards this child.
Yeah, I, I, I forgot the quote.
Yeah, there's like an entire mini arc going on in that where she like is determined to have this child call her mom.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't exactly understand what her reasoning is. Like it's kind of uncomfortable.
Comic relief. Look, it was that or we have the B plot from Spider-Chan. We'll take what we can get.
Yeah, true. There's the B plot from Spider Chan. Oh boy, nobody's gonna understand what that even is.
I don't know. I don't even know if they'd remember Spider-Chan, even if they watched it.
That yeah, what was it? What was it called? Oh, so I'm a spider. So what? That's what the anime was called.
Yeah. That thing was
Yeah.
like 2 years
The
ago.
plot was amazing because it was essentially just a dungeon crawl and a character learning to obtain her new abilities at the start, finding herself in a much bigger, more convoluted plot than ever thought before, involving the destruction of the world. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, there's a bunch of her old high school friends having drama about the fact that one guy was born into a much richer family than the other one.
It's. I wonder how much of that was in the manga and how much of that was made up to pad out the anime.
Like, I don't know. It's just kind of hilarious that the whole thing going on is like, it's hilarious though. It's I guess maybe it's like it's kind of like a satire on real life because meanwhile, while all that stuff, like all the stuff, terrible stuff's going on in the world, we're just sitting here talking about anime.
Talking about anime, Game Awards, and Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, Elon Musk has bought Twitter. That non-controversial? Are we allowed to say that?
Well, I don't think it's controversial to say Elon Musk has bought Twitter because he did.
That is true. That is an indisputable fact. Unless there's some big conspiracy going on where he doesn't actually own Twitter, and it's owned by the mafia.
Imagine if when we upload this, there's a fact check underneath to be like, Elon Musk does not actually own Twitter. It was actually rented out.
Right? He paid $14 billion to rent it.
God, that's the ultimate renting job.
And it's only for 1 week.
God, that would be the ultimate troll move. I never even bought Twitter. I just wanted to rent it for a while to see what it was like. I tried it out, didn't like it, decided to leave.
Yeah, that would be just the ultimate kick in the crotch.
Oh,
For the like, you just imagine you spent $14 billion on something only to realize that you don't actually own it.
oh, jeez. Now I kind of want that to be the case. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's like when one guy becomes president, just like, please tell me an April Fool's. It's just gonna be one April Fool's Day joke.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be so dark.
So messed up.
Yeah, and then this Elon Musk is now homeless in the streets and is like, well, I'm used to this.
I came from Africa, so this is the norm for me.
Well, I mean, if you actually look at old pictures of him, he was just working in a garage for the most part.
It's ridiculous, but that's the case with freaking Steve Jobs too. Just started working in a garage, and it's like, but how?
He's very good at what he does.
Clearly.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yep.
Is
I mean, like some people like what? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish your thought because I was going to change the subject.
I don't know. Some people are just lucky. Some people are unlucky. But go ahead.
I was going to say, do we have any other topics to discuss, or is that?
We do have another topic. Meta Runner.
Ah, yes. It was a good series. Hey, it was a good series. It was legitimately very good at its series until the last episode.
Until the very last episode, yes. Okay, I don't understand something about SMG4. A lot of the fan base hates the stuff going on in the SMG4 series, and Watfi. A lot of people really do, and then they praise Meta Runner with the exact same breath. I'm like, guys, one of these is actually mature and consistent, and one of them is very immature and unrealistic. I'll give you a guess which one it is. It's not the one you're thinking.
It's Sunset Paradise.
It's Sunset Paradise. Yeah. I mean, say what you want about Sunset Paradise. At least it's still part of the same lore. And it's also like it's not like they advertised that they were going to be a darker series.
Nope.
They didn't advertise being a darker series. They advertised actually a lighthearted series.
The main villain was an egg, for God's sakes.
Yeah. And like they did have darker tones with Maggie's inner turmoil.
Yes.
I mean, if you've watched up to that point, well, actually, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but I mean, I guess you could at least figure out from what you've seen that she is a little bit disfigured. She's no longer an inkling.
Nope.
And that, like, her loot, she lost her inkling abilities, and that weighs heavily on her.
I see.
She's not as powerful as she used to be.
Indeed. Though now I'm imagining Sunset Paradise, but at some point she just turns into a squid. Bit interesting. She's in a fight for her life to death, and she just spills some paint on the ground and turns into a squid woman.
I don't know, like. So I do have a question though about the whole like SMG4 series. What are your actual thoughts on like Mario? Actually, like what are your actual thoughts on Mario being a dumbass so far?
I'm fine with it so far because he's mostly just played for comedy. I don't mind him being a dumbass in this because the main character is SMG4, so meh.
What are your thoughts on like the dynamic between him and Maggie? Because a lot of people have pointed out that Maggie is like the only person that he's not mean to.
Which is ironic because she fucking hit him with the car.
I think she just knows what he likes.
She hits him with the car, and his first answer was harder.
Oh, we know for sure. We know this isn't going to be labeled for kids.
Yep. Well, better not be.
It better not be. Otherwise, YouTube has some explaining to do.
Anyway, they have a lot of explaining to do. But yeah, their relationship seems to actually just be, very nice and wholesome. It just they're friends. There's not much else to say. You can see that they're more than friends, or you can just say that they're very good friends. That's all you need.
That's right.
They're basically friends from the start, which is good. Well, Maggie didn't like Mario from the start, but Mario likes everyone.
SMG4's meta runner.
Yeah.
Look at Masa. Then you look at Masa. The reason he's friends with other people is because
he wants to use them.
He's friends with other people.
To use other people.
Yeah, I just at some point I wanted Lamar to just say, "Wait, why exactly are we friends again?"
Why do we hang out with this guy?
Why are we hanging out with this guy?
I get once TazCorp goes down, they're just like, so why are we still friends again? I got it when we were fighting TazCorp. I understand that. Why after?
Yeah, and to be fair, Lamar wasn't even part of TazCorp.
No, he wasn't, but they were all trying to take down TazCorp.
Right. But it's again, honestly, the ending was just so. I don't understand this. You have characters that in SMG4 that will actually die, and everyone just looks in absolute horror. Their eyes are wide. Their mouths are just like not even open. They're just like in a soft, quivering position as the person they know and care about falls to the ground. This has happened, I think, 4 separate times in the series. I might be wrong, and it might be 5. It might be 6, actually. I think there was like a guy who did a compilation of all that.
Well, with the most recent arc, I know it was like 47.
Wait, what?
Well, wasn't one of the more recent arcs to just kill like all of them?
No. Like if you're talking about the Nintendo arc, no. Nobody actually died in the Nintendo arc.
They just got swanky new redesigns.
Yeah, they just got horribly disfigured.
Damn you, SMG4! You got the worst of them all. You turned Asian.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like, basically at a certain point, they all just kind of get Thanos snapped, where it's like, oh, they're dead, but not actually. They're not actually dead. They're all coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, for real, SMG4 does have legitimate, horrifying deaths, and they're depressing too, because you've gotten to know these characters so well, and you're just like, wait, why? No, not them. It's like it actually feels. I think that's the brilliance of it. It actually feels like a real death, because like actual real death, you don't see it coming.
Yeah, it just happens.
And there's no build up to it. There's no hinting at it. It's just boom, there it is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's more realistic. I get the idea. No,
Right.
no final last words. No, I always loved you. Just they're dead. The end.
Right. I mean, like there will be sometimes in rare cases where you see them in a memory, like as a memory of
Yes.
someone, and that doesn't really count because it's not the actual character. So
No, it doesn't count.
yeah. But then you look at Meta Runner, and Masa is somehow not even bleeding, even though he has a screwdriver sticking out of his neck.
He doesn't even have blood. They couldn't even give him a bloody neck.
His arm and head exploded, and when he sits up, he's like, not only is he not even bleeding, but he's actually joking about it.
Oh yeah. How do you How do you explode and just be like, this is fine?
I don't know, but apparently he does it. And then to top it all off, this police corporation, like the police,
Yep.
like that we've established in Meta Runner, is very corrupt and very lazy as well.
Naturally.
Just suddenly is like, we're going to do all the research and discover that this man is innocent.
Suddenly
We're good at our jobs.
They didn't even pity arrest Masa. That would have been much, but at least it'd been like there's some punishment for his crimes.
And what's worse is, I think technically speaking, the way he was holding his gun towards Lux to begin with was illegal. Like, as a person that knows that's done a little bit of things with gun safety, I know for a fact you don't point the gun at someone's head and have your finger on the trigger, because accidentally you could fire at any second.
Oh god. Masa is the Alec Baldwin of the Meta Runner universe.
Oh. Oh boy, that was a sudden dark turn.
And then Masa went into acting.
Yeah, honestly, I've always even from his introduction, I did not like Masa. I didn't like him from the start, and I could tell where he was going to go as a character, because I've written. I think it's okay for me to criticize this because I've written quite a few characters myself, and I think I've done a good job of least of writing characters that are tragic.
Yes, you have.
Like, for example, Fritz.
Yes.
Like, I think it's probably one of the most tragic things that I've ever written, because like it's a person that's it's okay. Actually, I don't know if I should go too far deep into that, because I would just be like, it feels like bragging at that point.
Yeah, and the person watching isn't going to understand it.
Right. And that, yeah. I mean, like, if anyone does want to understand it, pop into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Revolution.
Yeah. Or leave a comment and we'll fucking have it as another conversation, maybe.
Yeah.
That'll be our 5-point preview of Ace's characters.
Yeah. I mean, like, if ever actually... if I had to summarize all of my characters, I don't even think I could actually remember all the things I've written about them.
Nope. I don't think I could either about mine, to be fair. The human brain can only hold so much.
True. Although I think the exception being Kosa, because I built her up I'd been building her up since the beginning.
Yes. It all paid off perfectly.
It all paid off perfectly. And then I went off and started doing other things with other villains.
But yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, true. I mean, the thing is, though, you can't really, once you've reached the maximum height of like peak physicality in terms of a villain, you can't really go back to that immediately, and you can't really even start building up to an even higher point, because you've already hit your max.
Yes.
I mean, like, that's the problem that the Avengers has with Thanos, right? Like, once Thanos was defeated, nobody really wanted to watch the Avengers anymore.
Well, they just didn't make another Avengers movie after Thanos.
Right? Did they actually? They didn't. That's right. They didn't make any more actual Avengers movies, did they?
No, the end game. The end game was the end game of Avengers movies. Phase
Unless they,
4,
like, make...
Phase 4 did not have a single Avengers movie.
Wow. That's kind of sad.
It
really.
is, but Phase 4 was a failure, so that just failed in another regard. Add to the list.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I went and saw Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, No Way Home. Far
No,
From Home.
Far From Home.
Oh, yeah. The one with Mysterio.
And then nothing else.
I saw No Way Home, and I'm just like, okay, if Endgame is the finale, then this is like the freaking epilogue.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I think if they actually did go with the, like, Mysterio actually being from another universe and, like, this was actually a thing that they were going to start doing now, like, multiverse stuff, I would have been like, you know what? I'm down to see where this goes.
Yeah, I was...
But no, they were just...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just... Like, instead, they just went with, these guys were just people that Tony Stark knew, and this is all about Tony Stark. And, like, remember Tony Stark? He died.
Yeah. I like the idea I did like the idea that Mysterio was from another world with these elementals and stuff, but I also did like the joke where just like these people honestly believe him from another universe. They'll believe anything.
True. But again, it's all a matter of preference.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say though?
I think I just said what I was gonna say. Just like I did. I liked Far From Home I liked Far From Home. It just felt too much like an Iron Man movie, but that's the main problem.
It really did. It
Tom
felt like
Holland.
Iron Man movie. I mean, he even had didn't the suit was made of nanomachines, wasn't it?
Yes, Nanomachine, son.
Nanomachines, son. You know what? That actually kind of makes me want to transition back to like the whole Sonic Frontiers thing because he's got a status now,
which is amazing.
Well, now we got 3 main guys that are part of the status because, according to the internet, the 3 main boys for status are Jetstream Sam, Virgil, and Sonic the feckin' Hedgehog.
My favorite is just the one where it's just like those 3, and the description is the people who will save you from No Nut November.
Yeah, the people who will save you during No Nut November. I mean, hey, they did their job.
They did their job. They did excellent. They needed help along the way, and every time they needed new help, a new guy came along to fill the quota.
Although, again, there's something wrong with Sonic because he kept having to shift his music every so often because he couldn't figure out which status he wanted to have.
It's not my fault I have so much good music.
Yeah, it's not my fault that I have so much good music that wasn't nominated for,
anything.
Wasn't nominated for Game Awards.
But my Sonic 2 movie was.
Oh yeah, Sonic 2. That's right. Sonic 2 came out. You know what? Actually, that kind of makes me want to transition back between the Sonic movie and the Mario movie because, like, let's compare the Mario movie to the Sonic movie. Like, okay, Sonic had some stuff that was a kind of annoying.
We're talking about the first one or the second one?
The second one.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one. Okay.
I don't want to watch either first Mario movie or first Sonic movie. I don't want to watch either of them.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch. But I wanted to watch the first Sonic movie actually because I saw they. Are you talking about the first draft?
Well, okay, no, we're talking about the remake first Sonic movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the one after they got rid of his human teeth.
To be fair, I kind of wanted to see that one just to see how terrible it was going to be. It was going to be just to see if it was a guilty pleasure kind of bad.
And apparently they were going to have who was the other person? Oh, they were going to have Chris Pratt in that one.
Of course they fucking were, because he is contractually obligated to be in everything.
Although I am glad that they got was it James Marsden?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm glad they got. Well, I mean, hey, same name as you, but yeah, I'm glad they got him in there instead because again, I don't think I can't stand seeing Chris Pratt in everything at this point.
Just imagine Chris Pratt as Sonic, meow.
I think we all screamed the same way that he did when we saw his face.
Oh god, he basically.
I just like to imagine that the moment that we all saw Sonic screaming, because that's when the first point when we actually saw a close up of his face,
and we all wanted another faraway shot.
You hear you hear James Marsden screaming, "Ah!" And then Sonic screams, and then I just imagine that every single person that was watching at home was also going, "Ah! Ah!"
Who thought this was a good idea? And how could I punch him?
It was just so ugly.
It is sad to think that the animation department after the movie came out got shut down and everyone lost their jobs. But then it's like, okay, but then how did Sonic 2 look so good?
Yeah, that's whenever a company goes bankrupt, that's not actually going bankrupt. It's just filing for bankruptcy, and it's just getting debt immunity, essentially.
I know that, but just one of those things where it's like, that's sad, man.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Well, at least we got a good movie out of it. I'd say Sonic 1 was a great movie.
It was a good movie, yeah. I agree. I don't know.
Except for that one fart joke.
Well, I hope you like that one fart joke, because that's half the jokes in the Sonic 2 movie.
Wait, really?
Well,
I didn't think there was that.
You're flying with your butt!
Okay, that's like the one joke that they have like that. And
Okay.
Also, let's be fair, they've also made that joke in the actual Sonic games.
I am being hyperbolic, to be fair.
True. But I think the second Sonic movie, it did have some annoying parts, like the whole wedding scene was like, it definitely overstayed its welcome.
I love the Ryan George skit version of it. We're just like, where's Sonic?
Yeah. But one thing I will say about those movies, they at least stayed faithful to the main, like, how Sonic normally acts.
Yes.
Granted, he's a little bit more naive.
Yes.
And Tails is also a little bit more, like, he's like his Adventure 1 self.
Yes. You know, the way we kind of want him from the beginning. Oh, we know we want Adventure 2 Tails, but eh.
I mean, if you actually look at story-wise, based on generations, classic Sonic face planted the first time he tried to do an air dash.
Yes.
Like, I could never see this version of Sonic ever being that much of a screwball. And also, this Sonic never made a Baldy McNose hair joke.
Thank God. Imagine Sonic Movie 3. What? I'm Shadow the Hedgehog. I'll call you Baldy Nose Hair. Never do that ever again.
I wonder if Sonic is going to call Shadow something like that. Then again, he didn't do anything. Didn't call Knuckles anything. Although he did make a pretty funny joke where he was like, "For a guy named Knuckles, you are pretty bad at punching."
I still like. I don't know why, but the line, "Oh great, the Winter Soldier," is burned into my brain.
That is a good comparison too. Which is kind of funny because technically speaking, Sonic came first.
Yes.
Like I know some people are going to be like, well, the comics came first, but no. Well, okay, that personality type originally did belong to Knuckles. Like the whole like, I'm going to hound you until I finally beat you.
Yeah.
And he does that. He does that in Sonic 3.
And Rush. And Knuckles didn't need to be brainwashed. He was that naive.
Yep. And then
which makes it worse in some regards.
Actually, you know what? Can we just talk about that for a second? I want to talk about I did not really. I liked the Idris Elba version of Knuckles way more than the one we currently have.
Yeah, I can agree to some regard. I think it's mostly carried by the voice.
It's never going to compare to the Dan Green one.
Shut up.
Where he's just a cranky jerk.
He's Yugi.
Like, no, the thing about Knuckles is he just says whatever's on his mind. He doesn't care how rude he is.
Or how stupid it sounds.
Yeah, true. And he doesn't care. He's like yeah, he doesn't care how mean it is. He just wants to say what he's going to say.
And he's going to.
And he's going to say it. Like, for example, when he's like, when Tails is just trying to let Amy down nicely, and Knuckles says, what Tails is trying to say is, we don't need you in our way.
Good choice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen I Love Lucy, it kind of reminds me of Fred Mertz.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I remember that.
Yeah, like if you ever actually watch that kind of humor, that's pretty much just like a modern version of that kind of humor, which got a lot of laughs back in the day. But yeah, I'm going on a tangent.
Yeah.
Irregardless, they got the characters of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles down pretty well. I mean, they even got Jolene Collins on to voice Tails again. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
But then for Mario, not only do you not even have him sound like actual Mario in games thus far, but also you've made Mario more of a complete idiot than ever before.
Even comparing to SMG4?
Even compared to SMG4, I mean, do you even think the SMG4 Mario would allow a Cheep Cheep to suck on his face?
Probably not. It depends.
Like, the moment the Cheep Cheep got on there, if it got off, Mario would immediately kick its ass.
Yes.
He wouldn't need Peach to come over and pull it off of him before just falling over and being a complete loser. And also, I'd like to bring that point up. I mean, I don't think it's controversial to say that if Peach is so competent as a character, and I think people realize that she's a very competent looking character, which, hey, you know, I don't really have a problem with that because she's been like that in Super Mario 3D World. She's been like that before in other games.
Yes.
But in those same games, Mario was also just as capable of a character, and in this one, he's an idiot and a bumbling fool. So why do you need his help to do literally anything?
My only explanation off the top of my head I can think of is it's going to be a prophecy story.
Which is just yeah. I mean, like, you know what? That is a pretty good point. But if that's the case, then it's going to be even worse than already is.
The legend describes a legendary red plumber from Italy, New York, which will come in and save everyone. And he'll be a bumbling buffoon and get everything worse, except until he does that one thing.
Either that, or he'll like stumble into Bowser and accidentally like foil something that he was doing, and then like they'll have to try to make him. They'll try to make him into the hero that everyone thinks he is.
Yes.
Which, again, is also been done to death, and it's a terrible, terrible trope at this point.
I'm just hoping that at this point to be like, okay, what if they just showed the scenes that would bother us, and then it's like, it actually turns out to be a good movie.
I mean, I'm hoping it is.
It was
I'm
like
hoping
that with the Sonic
it is.
movie.
I don't hate the Mario franchise, but the thing I don't like about the Mario franchise is that they get away with so much more.
Yeah.
Like you play Mario 64 and Sonic Adventure side by side. Mario 64 is actually infuriating to try to control.
Yeah, it's aged like milk. But then again, so is Sonic Adventure to some extent.
I mean, look, at least Sonic Adventure, it's at least fun to control Sonic in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. It's personal preference at least. But again, there's just something that just feels like this movie. It's just screaming out to me, saying that this Mario movie is going to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially the fact that they made Peach look like a Dr. Seuss character. Am I the only one that noticed that?
I didn't even think of that. I thought she looked fine, but I don't know.
she literally like she looks like that one girl from the Lorax. She looks like her facial structure looks exactly the same as that girl from the Lorax.
Oh, well, the movies I think were made by Illumination, so
like her facial movements, the facial structure, they look exactly like that one girl from the Lorax who was voiced by Taylor Swift.
The main girl. Ugh.
Who wasn't even in the original book.
Well, okay, if we're going to go on a list of everything that was in the original book, we could just point to like 90% of the movie. That's the problem with these doctors. But now we're not going to talk about a Dr. Seuss thing.
But it also, okay, she also wasn't in the TV show adaptation of said book, which also included new characters.
Well, yes, but there wasn't a reindeer in the freaking How the Grinch Stole Christmas until the freaking 2018 Benedict Cumberbatch version.
Well, yes, true. Fred the reindeer.
Wait.
Okay, I think we can all agree that despite the fact that the Benedict Cumberbatch movie was pretty bad, probably the worst Grinch movie adaptation that we've seen so far, I think that was Fred the reindeer was still probably the best part of it.
Hmm. There were good parts of it.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I don't. It's just so unsettling to see Peach look like a Dr. Seuss character, because Illumination is just like what I associate with Dr. Seuss characters at this point, I guess.
It's probably better that you associate them with Dr. Seuss than Minions.
Now I want someone to make an artist rendition of Peach looking like a minion.
Probably it's already been made on DeviantArt somewhere.
Probably already has been made on DeviantArt somewhere. I mean, you should see the other stuff they've done to her on DeviantArt. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but my word. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't like any of it, and I hate the fact that the internet has pointed me in that direction.
The internet was a mistake. Without it, you wouldn't have this podcast.
Let's delete it.
Yeah, delete everything.
How to delete the internet, like Maggie did that one time.
That ProZD video. How do I delete all of Twitter?
Oh boy.
Oh god.
I don't know.
I know why Elon Musk is keeping Twitter alive, but I kind of just want him to walk in, press the delete button, and walk out.
It would be very interesting to see. All I'm saying is I hope the Mario movie does well, but my gut instincts telling me it's going to be like every other either prophecy or accidental hero movie ever.
Yeah, hopefully it will be at least as good as the Sonic 2 movie. Or at least the Sonic 1 movie. Because
yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think there's any chance it's measuring up to Sonic 2.
Well, okay, no, but at least Sonic 1 give it a decent standard. It's gotta be better than its original Mario Brothers movie.
True. And some people have pointed this out. A lot of people don't really like the whole boss babe dynamic, because typically when there's a boss babe, there's they're typically really mean to everybody else. But at least in this instance, Peach seems to be nice.
Yes. If she was a boss babe, she kicked Mario and Luigi out of her party and said she'd do everything by herself.
Yeah, true.
And spend the entire movie talking about how terrible they were.
Right, true. And again, this just points to the problem. My main problem is not Peach. My main problem is Mario.
Your main problem with Peach is she looks like a Dr. Seuss character.
Yeah, but that's my main gripe with Peach. The main gripe I had with Peach is that she looks like a Dr. Seuss character. But yeah, on the subject of Nintendo stuff, Pokemon. I don't think we discussed Pokemon, did we?
No, we haven't. Saved it for last, I think.
Oh boy. On the subject of Nintendo getting away with stuff, I think we did mention it in bypassing, talking about Game Freak and stuff like that. But
yes,
yeah, apparently the new update for Pokemon came out, and the people that have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have told me that the update has made the system worse for them.
Which is impressive, honestly.
Apparently they were trying to do graphical updates, but
because that was the problem everyone had with the game, graphics.
Yeah, graphical updates with the shadows, and not trying to fix the fact that their characters are clipping through the floor.
It's just, I love it with the bike. It's like, wow, Gmod looks amazing.
Or the fact that one bug fix apparently they actually did get right was making the Pokemon actually close their eyes when they get affected by sleep powder.
I'm so glad we finally caught up with something that's been done since Gen 5.
Yeah. I just have no words, Nintendo. I have no words for you guys, because everyone was just like saying that Sonic was going to be so bad because of the pop-in, and that's like the worst complaint that they had about it.
Yeah, 0 out of 10. And
0 out of 10.
That's why it's not in the Game Awards, because the pop-in of a few trees every couple of miles.
Yeah. Okay, so basically how the pop-in works, enemies do not pop in. They are always loaded into the game. And the only things that do pop in are grass, which I don't think anyone really cares about, and trick loops, like the rails and stuff like that. Yes. Which I don't understand what the complaint is about that, because people were complaining about that stuff already being in the game, making it look less like a nature-filled area.
Why does the Sonic the Hedgehog game not look more realistic? Because last time it went realistic, you got Sonic 06.
And also, Sonic 06, like the assets, they take forever to load, right? Sonic 06 is notorious for its loading screens. Meanwhile, Sonic Frontiers is the first open world game I have ever played where fast travel takes 0 seconds to go anywhere.
Who the heck goes to Sonic the Hedgehog for realism? If you want to play a realistic open world game, go to Zelda.
Right. And then you got Pokemon Scarlet over here, Scarlet and Violet. I don't think anyone's really played Scarlet because apparently Violet is even worse somehow.
Then why are they playing it?
I don't even understand how Violet's worse because like the motorcycle Pokemon you ride on, it looks so unnatural in Scarlet. In Violet, it actually looks kind of cool and like it's got like a little badass jet stream trail that you got coming out of it while it goes forward. But in Scarlet, it's just like it's dragging 2 long tires from its body. It just looks so. It looks like it's ready to have it. The parts of its body just start falling off at any second. And granted, I will say it probably took them a long time to program in every single Pokemon that they could possibly get in there.
Yes.
But you guys had twice as many people working on this, over twice as many people working on this as they did for Sonic. And yet somehow you guys cranked out a game that has 2 frames per second.
This is the problem with Sonic. Well, to be fair, there is an excuse. They do have some excuse. Sonic Frontiers took, like, let's say 5 years to make and develop and process and all that jazz. Pokemon is a yearly game, unfortunately. So even if they had double the manpower, they had less than half the time.
Okay, but didn't they port most of the assets from Pokemon Arceus?
I don't know. I didn't play it.
Well, I mean, I played it, and they look almost exactly the same.
They probably did port some of the models, or at least most of them. I know they couldn't have ported the Hetsuian forms.
I know Pokemon Arceus released January 28th this year, right?
Oh God, it was this year?
Yeah, it was this year.
Well, at least it was very early this year, so at least I can stomach that.
Okay, but the game was relatively functional. I mean, granted, you clipped through a lot of things a lot, and there was also a lot of pop in that game, and the graphics were kind of garbage.
Yeah. But so was the standard Pokemon game.
I mean, you know what? They should just go back to like the pixelated format. Just try to make it as clean as possible. I mean, Black and White was amazing.
Oh wait, there was
Black and White was amazing. All I'm saying, like, I had way more fun playing Pokemon Black, or even Black 2, than I did playing Pokemon Legends of Arceus.
I still remember when Pokemon Black introduced the fact that their eyes closed when they fell asleep. It's like that was a really big deal. It's like that was how low our standards were. Oh my God, their eye is closed.
I mean, let's be fair. Pokemon Black was, like, story-wise, it was amazing.
Yes, we could praise, yes, we're going to do some very original and praise Gen 5 for hours.
Right. That's what we should, I don't know. Like, every Pokemon game that's come out after that, you don't feel the same way you did about the character, like the villains in this game. Like, you know what? My introduction to N was, like, my first introduction to an actually good villain.
Yes. Well, because he wasn't necessarily a villain. He could have been seen as an anti-hero.
Like, not even that. Like, he was a villain, but you understood everything that he was trying to do, and you empathized with that.
Yes. And then you have
like you are doing the wrong thing for all the right reasons.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. It's like the first time I ever looked at a villain in a game ever, and was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yes.
You're wrong, but you're right."
I agree with everything you said, and I have to do everything I can to stop you.
Yeah. And again, it's like, and they never hit that same like level of stuff because, like, and you look at the one that came out after that with what's his face,
Gen 16
the red
Flare Lysander.
I want to call him Jasper Beardley because it's like he's just got a big old red face. Like he's got a big old beard that's covering the circumference of his face. But yeah, I don't know what his name is.
The only thing I like about Team Flare is their theme song. That's the only thing I like.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. The leader of Team Flare. Okay, true. They did a pretty kick-ass theme song, but like their leader was just like, okay, his first introduction is like, "I'm going to change the world." Oh, well, way to spoil it, jerk face.
And then no one calls him out on it.
Yeah, no one ever calls out his flaws. Meanwhile, N has actually done some actual thinking back and forth between it, and at the end he admits that he's wrong and walks away.
Yeah, after a Ferris wheel ride.
Right, after you essentially do, after realizing that he was wrong. Like, the thing is, you don't just beat him and then he admits that he was wrong. No, new information is introduced to him with Geddes betraying him, and then he realizes that this whole thing was wrong from the beginning. Yes. And he feels terrible about that.
Yes.
And then in the sequel, he passes on. He still feels relatively terrible about that, and he essentially passes on the role of like the dragon wielder onto the new main character.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just it's good. It's good stuff.
I don't even know what the villains are in Scarlet and Violet. I don't even care.
I from what I've seen, they're over the top.
Are they? Is it the team this time, or they're doing or one of they're going to do the Gen 8 thing where it's like the Pokemon team's totally going to be the bad guy? Nope, background characters.
Honestly, I can't really speak on that, but they do look really kind of ridiculous. But I will say this:
Skull thing, great.
They didn't do a team thing in Pokemon Legends of Arceus, so if they're going that route, then I say, hey, maybe it might work.
What's a spin-off?
Although, in Legends of Arceus, I will say they did have one really good moment with one character. I guess it's not really a spoiler at this point, because at this point, if you haven't played the game, then you're not going to. But yeah, basically the thing I don't like about it, story-wise, is that you essentially spend most of the first part of the game trying to prove yourself worthy to these people. Like, you know, they kind of live like in a merit-based system. You have to, by catching Pokemon and doing research, you are assisting them with something that's important to their culture.
Yes. Because
there is one narrative flaw with that. Basically, the people in the past, they're not very good at catching Pokemon.
No.
They're not as good as a modern person who is apparently really well versed in it and finds it very easy, relatively.
Well, duh.
Right. So that's where you come in. You're a lot better at catching Pokemon than anyone else.
Imagine if you came in with a Pokeball and they were just like, "Witch! How did you do that?"
I can't believe you succeeded in that.
It's literally like if you go back in time with an iPhone, you're going to be accused of being a witch.
Yeah, you probably would be accused of being a witch.
Your reception here is terrible. Where's the Wi-Fi?
That is the thing, though. Basically, toward the end of the first half of the game, all these problems that you've essentially been solving, they suddenly just say, "Oh, hey, we're going to blame you for all that," and then they just kick you out and like they say, "If you ever come back here, we'll kill you."
God, I hate that.
But, okay, screw you guys. Screw you guys. I've done nothing but help you nonstop this entire time.
But get out. You spilled my coffee.
Yeah, you spilled my coffee. Get out. It's like that one time when Squidward turned into a giant and they're just like, "He didn't say bless you. Kill him."
That's the problem.
Yeah. And then toward the end, I will say that they did the end. They do have a twist villain in there, and honestly, okay, they make him a good villain, but not like N. No, I don't think any Pokemon villain will ever reach the same levels as N. But Volvo, it turns out Volvo actually was the one that summoned Giratina from the beginning to bring you here. And for the sole purpose of him wanting to get his hands on Arceus.
Oh, great. So we walked right into his trap.
Yeah. Essentially, he's been planning this whole thing from the very beginning. And you have essentially been playing right into his hands by collecting all the plates and all that stuff. But he's also kind of psychotic because he plans to kill you. Like, he plans to kill you and take all the plates that you've collected. And then combined with the last plate that he has, he plans to summon Arceus.
I see.
And of course he utilizes Giratina to do this.
Of course.
And then we find out the biggest twist of all, he's actually what's her name?
Spiritomb?
That's 5 minutes.
Daughter, he's like the son of someone.
No, yeah, no. Well, obviously everyone's the ancestor,
Okay.
but like there's a lot of characters that are ancestors of other characters. But we find out that Volvo is actually the ancestor of Cynthia,
Oh shit.
and he has the exact same Pokemon lineup as she does.
Oh no. I hope you're all ready
With
for
the
Brilliant Diamond and Scarlet Pearl. And Shining Pearl.
with the exception that he also has Giratina, or no, not Giratina on his side as well as a 7th surprise Pokemon.
7th Pokemon?
Yeah,
So
yeah. He's the first guy to ever break the rules.
Caboose just comes in. Wait, that's illegal.
And then what's even more crazy is that when you finally do defeat Giratina, the music kicks in, and it's like a kick-ass rock theme kicks in, and you're greeted to an even more evolved form of the evolved form of Giratina. What was it, primal form or whatever?
God damn it! Even when we're done, we're not. So he has 8 Pokemon.
Yep. Honestly, the fight was amazing, and seeing everyone's reactions to it is amazing. And honestly, that was the only good part of that, like that game's story.
Yes.
Because all the other stuff is just like basic generic stuff.
Screw
and, like,
the rules.
Oh, wow.
I'm Cynthia's ancestor.
Screw the rules. I'm Cynthia's ancestor, and I'm a villain.
And I have a
about to have
Giratina. Screw the rules. I have a Giratina.
Yeah, honestly, that was brilliant. I will say that was like the one spark of brilliance in that entire.
You could
game.
say it was a
Because,
Brilliant Diamond with a Shining Pearl.
Like the thing is, you trusted this guy from the start.
Yes.
But you like semi-trusted him. You like felt there was something off about him, but you like he was the only one that you could turn to when everyone else essentially like
turned on you.
They everyone else turned their backs on you. He was the one guy that didn't do it, and in fact offered you a place where you could stay.
Yes.
And then you find out this entire time that everyone, including you, has been playing into his hands.
You didn't believe in me. You just needed you. I would just still have use to you.
Yep. Honestly, that was brilliant. I will say that was brilliant. Good job, Game Freak.
Congratulations, you made
good
a
job.
second best villain.
Yeah, second best villain of Pokemon ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could. I mean, Giovanni, you could say, but
and that's why it's in the Game Awards.
Yeah, I will say props to Pokemon Arceus for making it to the Game Awards. But if they ever put Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in there, like no.
No,
I refuse.
I am for them being in the Game Awards as a Razzie.
Like, how do you have an update that makes the game worse and still be nominated for Game Awards? I refuse to believe that's a thing.
Hey, after that freaking thing with the Diglett just going inside of the guy, I'm just like, okay, you can be in the Game Awards now after that.
Why does the Diglett look like that? Why does it expand?
It's because it's a regional variant. Oy.
I am an original variant. You must. Where
am I?
Never mind.
I don't know.
Excuse me while I slap you with my body.
While inside of your body.
Oh my gosh. You know what's funny? The Pokeballs don't even close around the Pokemon sometimes.
I saw a newer glitch where it's like, this Pokemon leveled up. Oh, it's evolving. And they're both on the screen at the same time.
Oh no.
I'll send you the thing after this is done.
You know, there's apparently some glitches that are like they move you really like they're as exploit glitches, you know, like
yes.
They can get you further in the game.
Yes.
Apparently, the patch was supposed to fix that. It didn't actually fix that.
Oops.
Meanwhile, Sonic Frontiers actually also had a patch like that, where they were
able to fix it.
They fixed it, but also didn't. So basically, there was I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's like it's a glitch it's an exploit you can do where you can essentially shoot Sonic going flying straight up into the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can use that momentum to go even further.
I see.
Like get to unattainable areas. Basically, they patched it so that newbies couldn't stumble into it, but speedrunners still could.
I see.
Right. Which I think that's kind of cool. I think yeah. I think they did the good thing.
That's pretty cool.
You know, I mean, okay, I've actually tried it out myself. It's actually really fun to just click 3 buttons and then send Sonic flying into the air.
Yeah.
But I could not, for the life of me, get over the invisible wall to get to the boss area and just spawn him in.
I see.
So yeah, I mean, it does take some skill.
Indeed.
But I think it's kind of interesting that they have momentum physics in a Sonic game, but I'm getting off point. We were talking about Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, we're basically done with that conversation anyway, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. But, well, I mean, no. I mean, like, again, I just think it's hilarious they had a bunch of patch notes of things they quote-unquote fixed, and then I see people that have actually downloaded the bugs, fixes, and not only do their games now run slower, but those fixes that they mentioned weren't actually fixed.
Nope.
And it's just disturbing to see a lot of like even characters just moving at like 2 frames per second or 3 frames per second, and they just look like they're dying on the inside. Like one guy pointed out that there's a school in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like the only area loaded in is a school, so there shouldn't be any excess assets being like loaded in, right?
Yeah.
So why are all these children kicking their legs at 1 mile per second? Or no, like 1 mile, or no, 1 mile an hour.
1 mile per second. That's pretty damn fast.
Yeah, that was my brain shut off for a second. Like, actually, more it's like 1 light year per hour. No, wait, no.
You keep making it faster. Damn, these kids are really getting a workout. I mean, either way, it's a glitch.
I mean, technically speaking, it might be 1 light year per hour if we're just going all the way back around to being that fast.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's like it's 1 meter per hour. That's what I should say.
Yeah.
They're just, it's like I'm gonna move my leg over here, and then now over here, and now over here, and we're just going really slow. Meanwhile, the other characters, there's supposedly older kids in the same classroom, and they're actually not bugging out and just going at 1 frame per second.
Yep.
It's kind of disturbing to look at because like it's one thing to just have the entire screen be just 1 frame per second. It's an entirely different thing to have one part of your screen be 1 frame per second and another part be running completely smooth.
Break my head.
It makes the other characters look like aliens.
Indeed.
Boy. I don't know. All I can say is I really hope they get that fixed because that's definitely gonna need to get fixed.
Indeed.
And additionally there's the whole glitch of the Diglett appearing directly in front of someone's couch.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I was just gonna say I honestly kind of hope they keep that, and it's like the Skyrim glitch of the trolls where they just keep it in because it's so funny.
Oh no!
Imagine they just leave. Imagine they fix literally every glitch in the game, but leave that one where it is.
I really, really hope they don't do that, but I have a feeling they're going to.
I hope they don't do it, but I wouldn't be mad if they did.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be angry, but
it would make LPs a lot more interesting. I mean, just watching someone go through Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and suddenly there's a Wiglet sticking out of their butt.
I don't know. At some point, there's just gonna be an absolutely horrifying glitch. Like, actually, there was that horrifying glitch where their eyeballs were literally like popping out of their face.
Mm-hmm.
They look like those bugs that have like the eyes that stick out from the side of their face. That just, oh boy, yeah. I don't know. I hope they get it fixed. I considered buying it myself, but it just looks so messed up to even consider.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll probably come around eventually. Then again, you never know. You never do know. I think that's as far as I got for topics to discuss for right
Yeah,
now.
I think that's good.
Unless there's anything you want to talk about.
No, I don't got anything at the moment.
Okay, well, I guess we can just call it a day for that.
All right, well, that's the end of the podcast.
Well, that's the end of AceJimL8. Tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, where we'll be discussing Sword-kun, friend or foe. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably could have discussed the fact that my voice is now back.
Oh, now you can't.
Well, now I can't. Now I can't because we're ending the podcast. Now I can't discuss the fact that I got all my voices back except for Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse has been lost to time.
As he should be.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, now I can kind of sound like Herbert the Pervert, but now I can't really do it that well either. Oh, that sounded so wrong.
You know what the best part of this is? I'm still
What?
recording.
Wait, what?
I'm still recording.
Oh shit. Goodbye, little boy.